Hi, I'm Holly Pike. If you'd like a trial of the Generation software that I use for digitizing, please visit trygenerations.com. This video is a recording of a live video I did for my previous students. You may hear references to You Can Digitize or YCD. That's my old website that is now closed. My new website is digitizingschool.com. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up.
We're going to do some work with copy and paste, rotation, and color sorting. So I hope you will enjoy and maybe learn a little bit here. So first thing I'm going to do is insert my artwork. We're going to use one of these designs here. Use number 4. Click OK. Images template. OK. And this is set real good right now for a 100 by 100 hoop, so we're just going to go with that. I am going to shift and plus to make the colors a little darker so I can see them a little better. Bring it up to full screen here so you can see what we got. First thing you'll notice is that it's a circle design, and the design repeats itself all the way around. So you might be thinking too, wow, that's a lot of digitizing, but really it is not. This is really a fun and simple design to do because you can start by doing one piece. Grab a pencil here, and I am going to start with just this much of this design. I'm going to digitize that first, and then I'll do my color sorting, and then I can start copying and pasting and rotating. Color sorting is always the bad part here, and I'm sure you're looking at it too thinking, boy, that's going to be a lot of jump stitches. Well, it probably is, but I'm thinking that with most machines these days, a lot of the jump stitches will be cut, and it's going to be very pretty when it's done. I'm going to start with the greens first because they're pretty much in the background. I'm going to go up to 400. Get that centered a little bit. I'm going to start with, well, let's pick a color here. A nice medium green. Pick my line tool and get started here. I'm just going to do this part as a triple run, not as fast as Holly. And then we're going to need to work on some of these little pieces. I'm going to do those as a satin. So I'm going to switch to my Satin Tool. Use my navigator. And I want the same color green. So try and get a nice smooth line for my satin here. And this other one. Okay, I'm going to escape for now. So I want to switch colors, and I'm going to do these other lighter colored ones. But I want to make sure I deselect that first, or else it'll turn the lighter color. Let's see. We'll pick this here and see what that looks like. Pick up my Satin Tool again. We left off here. I'm going to scooch back up to this one. I like to try and digitize in the order that I want the design to stitch out. And I know I could maybe do some copying and pasting here with these little swirls, but if you look at them, they're all kind of different shapes. So I'm going to just stick with doing them all individually. I'm going to come down to this one. I like to always start at the smallest part. This one. And one more. Okay, I'm going to drop my tool, pressing escape, and now I want to take a look at these and see in 3D, see if I like how the angles are. This one looks a little funky here, so I'm going to go into my angle view, and oops, this is the one that looked a little goofy. Just pull that one down a little bit, and I think I'm going to move my in and out point, my end of it to the top just a little more. Move this one just a little. And that's a little bit better. Excuse me. Now for these, I want my ins and outs to, whoops, there we go. Undo is your friend. I want to move my in and out points to the ends. Not like that. It's kind of warm and sticky in here today, and I think my pen is going to give me some grief. On all of the rest of these, I want to do that too. Like I said, I like to do as much of this stuff right away as I'm digitizing so I don't forget about it later. Then I don't have any surprises. I know when I do my final run through that I would catch them, but less I have to do then, the better it is for me. Okay, so now I have my leaves and my stems done. Do we have any questions? Now I'm going to work on the flower. I'm going to do this kind of simple. This is just for practice and to show you how to do the copying and pasting and everything more than my digitizing skills. But I still want it to look cute. So I'm going to pick a sort of a light purple for the background. I'll try this one. And I'm going to pick my area tool. Got that selected now. And I'm just going to do these background petals. Oh, there we go. And we'll start with copying and pasting right away. I'm going to drop my tool. I'm going to select this piece. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to click in here so I get these little arrow handles on the corners, and I have my little X in the middle. That's my rotation point. If I turn it like this, it's going to turn right around that center right there. But I want to take this piece and move it down over here. So I want to just click on this and move that down to the center. And now my piece is going to rotate around this. So when you get the little green arrow, you can grab that and pull it around. Okay. Now I'm going to select that one, copy and paste one more time. I'm going to click on it to get that rotation. Move it to the center. I just kind of eyeball it, and then if I have to change something, move it a little bit later on, that's okay. Grab it and move it around. And one more time, copy, paste. Get your rotation. Get it in the center. And oops, lost it. There we go. Pull it around. So we've got those 4 pieces. I'm going to deselect everything and generate. We've got those 4 pieces in. Okay, going to take a minute here and save my design just in case. It's been pretty good. I already have one in here, so I'm just going to say that I want it to be that, one that I hadn't started, and click OK. And yes, I want to replace it. There we go. So we're good to go now. Okay, this little ball here kind of looks like it was the same color, the lighter color. So now that I've got those 4 pieces done, I may rearrange so I end with this one here, and then I'm going to do this little ball here as a, I'm going to use my circle tool. Draw a little circle there. I'm going to escape to drop the tool. And now I'm going to change that to a satin. And I want to look at the angles because sometimes they make them off center, but these look pretty good. Generate. So I've got everything that I want to do in that color is done. Now I want to do a little brighter or darker purple. So choose something a little different. This one here. Pick my area tool. And actually, whoa. If that ever happens to you, just click A or type A on your keyboard. Everything comes back to the center for you. So I'm going to go back up to 400 and use my navigator to get where I want to be. And I was going to get out of 3D view. That's why it went crazy on me. So I have my darker purple selected. I'm going to pick my area tool. I'm going to start with this one right here. I just want to make sure I'm in the edge here. And here we go. Now, one thing I didn't do that I probably should have done, before you start copying and pasting, it's always a good idea to, if you wanted to add a special fill to any of these items, it would be a good idea to do that before you started copying and pasting. So I'm going to select this and hit my space bar. Go to the Complex Fill tab, and I want to add a little bit of a pattern to that. Nothing too fancy, but just something to give it a little more texture. And I don't have as many patterns as Holly does. She has lots of nice patterns. I kind of like this one. Click OK and OK. So that gives it just a little bit different texture than the leaves or the petals in the background. So now I'm going to do my copy and paste thing again here. I'm going to select it, copy and paste, click on it again to get that rotation, move it to the middle, and then pull it around. Copy and paste. One more time. I always like to grab one of the outside arrows that I can see good. Now, as you can see, these kind of seem to be moving in a little bit on me. So now that I have it selected, I'm just going to use my arrow keys to back it up out of that circle just a little bit. You can always move them around if you're not exactly happy with where they land, because sometimes you don't always hit the center. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to deselect everything just by clicking off to the side and generate. So you can see that my pattern fill followed along with all of those petals, and that looks nice, I think. I'm going to look to see. Okay, that looks pretty good. Questions? Any questions? So now we got to decide what I want to do about these little things here. We've got a lot of different colors, and I'm not sure that I want to have that many color changes with this. So what I'm thinking is I might take a different blue here. Where'd my blue go? Way too fast. There we go. Oops. Maybe a blue like this. And I am going to use my line tool, and I'm just going to put some highlights in here. And if you go kind of with the flow of your stitch angle, it'll blend in but still show up. And that one's going to be a little off. And where I'm going to the bottom point along here, most of that is going to be covered up with a satin stitch for this light yellow part. So I left off here. I don't like that one. Oop. That got kind of far down in there. Okay, I'm going to end it there. So now that I stopped in the middle there, I want to take those two pieces. I'm going to select them over here in my film strip. And I'm going to go to my view outline. I'm going to click and merge. And I think I'm going to leave them as a single run. See how it looks. So I'm going to generate. It's probably going to look really goofy. Yeah, it kind of looks goofy right now, but once we get the rest of our circles in there, it'll look better. Okay, now we've got 3 circles in here, and those are going to be pretty small. Let me measure, 1.6 millimeters. That's not too bad, but it's a lot of satin stitch running together, so I don't know if I want that much satin stitch going around those 3 circles. So I think I'm just going to do 1 circle in the middle. Drop my tool so I can position it where I want it. That looks good. And I think I'm going to rethink that. I'm going to delete that and start over again. I'm going to make 1 big circle for the whole area. Drop my tool again, get that positioned. I want it just a little bit bigger. pull in that corner and I can make it a little bigger. Get back where I want it. I just want to make sure that it's covering all of the petals and the runs that I put in there. And I'm going to change that to a different color so I can see it better. And we'll just do this orange right away. Have to select it. Here we go. Look at it in 3D and it is covering. So that's good. I'm going to go out of 3D and now I'm going to make another circle for just that orange part. Oops. And that should be good. Now the bigger one I'm going to change to a little paler color. And while I have that one selected, now I have, go here so we can see it a little better. I've got my background color and I've got my little circle on top. I need to create a void in here. I'm going to go to the outline view. I'm going to right click, create a void, and create a void using existing area. As you see, when I go over this, it highlights and I can click and we have a void created. Generate. So now you can see there's a hole in there with my orange. I'm going to take, select that outside ring, and I'm going to change that to a radial fill. And that makes it kind of nice and satiny. And I think I'm going to rearrange it so that the center circle stitches first. And do it like that. Back out a minute and see what it looks like. And I should save because I haven't saved for a while. Okay. Now we need to finish off with these couple of little decorative balls. Go here so I can see them. Get out of my 3D view. I think I will just do them with my circle tool again. Escape. Move that one into position. And I'm going to copy and paste and move the other one right there. We're going to have to do a little more, create a void. So in this one, I'm going to go here, create a void using existing area. There we go. Generate. I think I may want to create a void with this one too, just so they're not getting too bunched up in there. There we go. Ooh. Now let's go into 3D. Nope. This one I want to change to a satin. And I think that one I'm going to have stitch last. There we go. And this one, see what happens when I try changing it to a satin. Oh, that didn't turn out too bad. Sometimes when you have a complex fill and you change it to a satin, you don't always get predictable, as Holly would say, results. But that one turned out pretty good. I'm going to change my angle on this one here a little bit, so it doesn't look quite as wonky. And generate. I think I want my in and out right on the edge. Go out there. Oops. There. Okay, now you can see our software is so smart, it thinks that these items are close enough that it can finish off with my stem and travel through this little leaf to do these two leaves. Well, I think not. I'm going to go up here and we are going to trim that travel. So now it will stop and jump to this next one. Okay, back out and generate, see what we got. Save it quick. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so it's not a fancy little flower, it's just plain basic digitizing right now. And my next step for doing this would be to get up here. I'm going to go up to, back up to 400 and see. No, 400 is too much. Whoa, that went up to 800. 400 might not be too much. I want to group all these pieces together. So now I'm just going to go through here, kind of check my ins and outs. I have this first one selected, and I'm just going to use my arrow keys to tab through and see if I like where my ins and outs are and if I like my stitch order. And I think I'm going to change my stitch order for these pieces, and I'm going to do this one first. I'm leaving off right here, so I'm going to do this one first. And then this one second, that one third, this one fourth, and then we can jump over to the little purple bud there. Sharon, yes, I do need to change that to a triple run if that's what I want it to be. And I did. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so I've got that first set of petals. I'm through that and through the little bud. So now I'm using my arrow keys again. Run through this. Looks good. And I'm going to do my blue. And then I think I'm going to do these two little buds. So I'm going to go over to my color chip bar, and I'm going to select those two, and I'm going to click on it and drag it up to that other blue. So that brings them right up there. I'm going to generate. Okay, so I've got those done. I'm going to do my center and my yellow. And that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that so far. So now what I need to do, I'm going to just back out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I want to select all of these pieces that I have digitized, drawing a box around them, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to group them. So now I have them all grouped together. They're going to move all in one piece for me. Now that I have them grouped, I'm going to click on it again to get that rotation square or circle in the middle. I'm going to grab it and move it to the middle here. I'm going to grab one of these arrows and pull it around. And if the artist was good, it should line up just nice. Oh, but you know what I didn't do? I didn't copy and paste first. So we have to select all that again. Whoops. Okay, I went too far with my undoing. I need to select all the pieces again. I'm going to group them. I'm going to generate that right away. Okay, now I've got them selected. I'm going to copy and paste. And it always copies and pastes right on top of itself. I'm going to click in there again to get the rotation. Move it to the center. Then I'm going to grab one of the arrows and pull it around. I'm going to go just a smidge further. Oops. And now that it got away from me, I have to move my thing again. I want it to go just a little bit further. There we go. Okay, so now I have two of my flowers. Go up to full screen so you can see what that looks like. Okay, now we've got these two. I can group all of this together, copy and paste, and move two of them at a time now if I want to. If I do that, first I want to color sort. And by doing that, I'm going to, this is my first set from the green down to the yellowish color. This is my second set, green to the yellow. So I'm just going to grab those and drag them up. So I have all the same colors together. And then I'm going to generate. Oops. Make sure nothing is selected when you generate, or else all the jump stitches will not go away. And so now all of my light purple leaves are going to stitch first. I have all of those, or my stems and my greens will stitch first, then the lighter green petals. The light petals, the dark petals of the flower, all of the blue, the two oranges, and the two yellows. The only thing with this that you might want to do, but it won't matter once you get all the way around. Right now, it's jumping from this one to this one, then back to that one, and back to that one. So that's kind of a long jump if you were just doing these two pieces. Excuse me. But now what I'm going to do is select both of these. I have one selected. I'm going to hold my control key and select the other one. And I'm going to group these two. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to click to get my rotation arrow or circle. Move that to the center. Then I'm going to grab my arrow. Oops. Oh, darn. Select that one again. Go to the center. And pull it around. That looks almost good. Just a little bit more. You want to make sure you have the green circle showing when you try to grab it. Otherwise it gets away from you. Oh, and it did it again on me. Pen is being a little finicky. I think it's because it's kind of warm and sticky in here. I'm going to try this one up here. There we go. Okay, now I'm happy with that. So now I'm this far. I want to color sort one more time again. I find that if I do it right away, it's easier for me. You can also, do the whole design and then use your set stitching order to go through all of the pieces and color sort and make sure it would automatically color sort, and your stitches or your pieces will all stitch where you want them to. So now we've got half of the design done. I'm going to back out a little bit more here so I can catch everything. We have one complete piece here that's grouped and one here. I'm going to group one more time. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to click to get my rotation. Put it in the center. And grab my little arrow and swing that whole thing around. Oops, not quite so fast. There we go. I'm going to pull it back just a little further. Okay. Generate, save this quick. Now I'm going to color sort one more time. Oops. Okay. Generate. Turn off my artwork. And that's our design. How do I do my grouping? You need to select the pieces. Let me just draw a couple of pieces over to the side here. Okay, I'm going to drop my tool. I'm going to escape. So I have three little pieces sitting over here. I'm going to select them by drawing a box around them. You can see all of them are selected. Each little individual one has the open hold squares in them. Once they're selected, I can go down to the tool here, the Group Ungroup tool. When I group that, now it's all, I can move all of those in one piece. While they're still selected with the black boxes, I can go back again and ungroup them, and then I can select each one individually and move it where I want. Does that answer your question, Nana? How do I turn off the artwork? Up here, this little icon up here is your, let's see if it will show up. It doesn't. The hide view image icon up at the top here, you can turn your artwork on and off with that. When the artwork is off, you'll see this dotted line that outlines your artwork. When it's on, that line goes away. You can kind of see my artwork under there. I'm going to get rid of these little pieces. Okay. So now our design should be good to go for test stitching. Instead of going through each one here, I would do the stitch player. And click on the green arrow here. I also click on the show shadow, so it kind of shows an image of what my design looks like. And then I click auto play. You can kind of watch it stitch out and see if my color sorting works. Well, I'm glad it was helpful, Sharon. I know sometimes it's easier to just go through and put everything in there, and you can come back and color sort and, you know, set your stitching order later. I like to do it. Okay, now that I didn't like. Did you see how it finished up with the green here, but then it jumped to the light green here. So I didn't like that. It should have started with the light green here and then went around. That was my plan. So now I may have to go and, oops, you can't do anything with your sequence bar when you're in the stitch player. Well, let's finish, let it stitch for a while and see what else it's going to do. Oh, now we're not. Okay, we did our greens good. We left off there. So let's see where we go from here. Then all of a sudden we went down here, which normally it should have started over here when I color sorted. That's strange. I don't know why I did that. So now I get to show you how to use the set stitch sequence. You go up into accessories, or your set stitching order. Set your stitching order. You can grab that, and we left off with this green one, and now we're going to do the light green. When you touch on each thing, it numbers it. I'm going to go up and do this one. I want it to pretty much run the same way through the whole design. Oops, missed that one. Okay, now I have all the light green, so it stitches in the order that I want. We're leaving off with this one up here. I'm going to hit enter. Once I have all my numbers in there, I'm going to hit enter. And if you watch over here, you'll notice all of those light greens now have gone to, ooh, where's my pen? There it is. Gone to the top of my stitch sequence. And I want them to go below. So I'm going to grab that color, and I'm just going to pull it down below the green, the dark green. Oops, went one too far. There we go. So now it's all below the dark green. Generate. And those should be good. So let's see where we start here then. Okay. I'm going to go back to the player and see how it plays. Oops. There we go. Now it seems to be stitching in a better order, or the order that I was hoping it would do. These are neat designs to use on quilts. I'm sure Holly and Larry will, as soon as I get the artwork to them, they will get it up on the website with the lesson when they get that all processed. So it's going to go around and do all of the purple. Yes, Laura, you could digitize this to fit in the majestic hoop. This, right now, I've digitized it for the just for the 4x4 hoop. The only problem that might happen if you digitized it for a bigger hoop, when you if you made it bigger, some of these satin leaves probably would be too big, and then you'd get the stitch downs in part of the leaf. Okay, so far now it's stitching the way I had planned. Do you think it's helpful to watch your designs stitch out with the stitch player before you take them to the machine? That's a question for you all. Yes, yes. I find that it is. I find sometimes I miss things. Okay, everybody, yes. Good. That's good. Sometimes it goes too fast and I don't always catch the mistakes, but most of the time if there's something not stitching in order or in and out that looks funny, I can catch that, and that really helps. Yes, Janice, there is a setting. As soon as this gets done stitching out, we'll go in there and see if I can find that for you. Yes, Laura, for my for all of my fill, I use the 0.50 density. The satin stitch I leave at the default density of 0.4. Did I miss that, Diana? That the blue could start one petal before? Maybe. I wasn't watching close, I was watching questions. But there, we saw it stitch out. And now I'll just click the green arrow to get back out of the stitch player.
Hi, I'm Larry. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was recorded during a live webinar that Holly taught some of her students for digitizing. At this point, she's finished the lesson that she had planned to teach, and for the next 20 or 30 minutes, probably, she'll go on and answer random questions from her students during the live webinar. I'm going to cut those off, and I'm going to take those and turn them into little video shorts to put here on our YouTube channel later. But for now, you've got this lesson, and if you enjoyed it, learned something, please give it a thumbs up. That helps our rankings with YouTube. Also, if you'd like a copy of the software that Holly's using so that you can digitize along with her, we can get you a 30-day trial that's fully functional if you just go to www.trygenerations.com www.trygenerations.com, and we'll give you all the details there. Thanks for watching.